Hi, my name is Paul Schurz and welcome to my shop. Welcome to segment 2 of Marquetry 101. In this segment we are going to be building the packet and we're going to begin cutting. So I'd like to start off with the cartoon and making the packet. Now there's a few stages here, and this would be the first one that I would like to start. With your kit, or if you have notebook backer, this is called paper chipboard. It's about between a 32nd and a 16th inch thick. This is a great foundation to be able to make one of these packets. So what I need to do first is mount this packet. Well, to really get a better idea, let me cut it down to size. And let me mount it approximately in the middle of this paper chipboard. So once this has been mounted, I need to affix it with spray adhesive. Okay, and now I need to affix the cartoon. Burnishing it down with a rag or a cloth affixes it securely onto the gray board. So also with this packet I have another piece of gray board or paper chipboard. And I want to put this together into a sandwich. That's what I call them. You must be getting around lunchtime. Okay. Now I have a packet in which to place the veneer. I need to reinforce this in some way through the cutting process and through the sand shading process where it won't fall apart. Again, this is real wood veneer and it is very fragile, as you can see. So what I like to do is I'd like to fasten everything together or reinforce it with gum tape. Now I'm going to be putting gum tape on all the pieces of veneer which come in this kit. There is another piece of poplar which you see, which is a little bit larger in the kit. That will be for backers when we go to glue up. But the gum tape has a shiny surface, a matte surface, and it needs to be properly wetted to be able to fasten onto the veneer. Again, sponge cup, go through, strike it off, and place it down onto the veneer. I put it on, and if the tape is ever so slightly translucent, it works, it's working until everything is covered. Afterwards I can trim it here with a scalpel or with an X-Acto knife to be able to break it free, and then I'll be putting them underneath in the magic press to have them dry properly. Now the veneer has been drying in the magic press for about 20 minutes. It's time to assemble the packet. So all the gum tape is put on, slight overlaps. It all looks good. With your kit, or if you can get this from a hardware store or a tool store, these are small pin nails which go into a 21 gauge pin nailer. And I want to clip them off with these small little pliers or beading pliers. And as you see the arrows are going down, I want to all stick them into this small piece of foam pointed down. When I nail this packet together with the nails, I want the pointed end going down to separate the fibers of the wood instead of punching them through with the blunt end of the nail. So now that the nails are prepared, I can now start preparing the packet. So all the gum tape in this will go face up. This is going to be the show face of the veneer. When I glue all the veneer down, or this entire marquetry segment, all the gum tape is actually going to be on the top surface. This is my glue surface, and this is the show face. So the first thing is I'm going to put my background down. This is the walnut burl. And I'm going to put it here in the packet to make sure that it lines up with all pieces, parts, and segments that I need. The next thing that I'd like to select, I think, is the maple. You know, it doesn't really matter which order you put it in, as long as you remember all the pieces that you have to put in. And I'm going to take this maple and do it 190 degrees to the other. This will give me the ability to select out which piece of veneer will work best for this job. Also, I want to make sure that this maple has enough room to be able to get the small center of these buds. The next thing will be the cherry, and I think the cherry, again, I'm going to run one perpendicular to the other, and that will get all the petals which are going vertically and all the petals that are going horizontally. And that can come in here. Now the leaves here, I'm going to use one for the leaves here, and you know, I don't really need this full sheet for just getting the two leaves out, but you know, I can certainly cut it down or place just a smaller piece in there, but we have enough to really use it for this full piece. And I'm going to put one area perpendicular to another, but it looks like I'm going to have a problem putting this in. It doesn't really kind of go all the way, so I will need to trim off a little bit here so I can get it up into that packet. And I have one layer left. This layer, walnut, I'm going to throw it in maybe all the way underneath. I'm just going to put it in there because it's an extra piece that I could use or possibly as a backup piece. Now it's time to nail it. What I have is I have some small 1/2-inch foam. You can use cardboard or you can use a thicker piece of foam. But I want to put these nails in and to secure all these layers together. The pin nails will, once I pull them out of my assembled packet, will come out very easily. I'll be able to pry them out, and the hole itself will re-knit, and the fibers will close over that hole so you won't even see that it was there. For this project, I believe that 6 nails will be enough, and I need to clench them over on this side. So I'm clenching them out from the center. Now I'm just putting them part way into the packet. They are poking out underneath, and that's why I'm using the foam, so I can actually get this packet off. If you do it on a hard surface, you'll nail this packet to this platen. Not a good thing. And the last one here, 6 nails is adequate for this packet. Now it comes time to clench the other side. As I have separated these nails all clenched down from the center outward, I also need to do it here from the center outward. You always want that nail to clench this way like a staple. If you put one nail over this way and the other nail on the bottom of the packet this way, the packet is liable to shift. Now this I like to do on a hard surface. If I try to clench it on this foam, this nail will just come out. So on a hard surface, and I want to cover these ends on the bottom of the packet with a little piece of tape. This will allow me to cut it with ease on the scroll saw, and those little nail heads or these clenched nails won't hang up on the side of the table. Now the starter hole is a small hole. It's not drilled out. You don't want to remove any material here. What you want to do is ease open a hole, and that can be done with a dental probe or a sharpened nail. So here's what I'm going to use to pierce this hole. As you can see, the Marquetry is laid out with a numbering system, and I want to start at the middle of an image and work my way out. If I cut the perimeter of my image and the rows with none of the interior pieces cut out yet, the rows will fall apart because all the nails are secured along the outside. So I do need to start in the middle of my image, and I'm going to start it right at the juncture of 1, 2, and 3. You can see here's 1, 2, 3. This is generally the middle of the image, and I need to start it right here. And now it's time to start cutting. I have several scroll saws in the shop. This one I find very useful, readily available. It's a fine tool. I gave it a good review in a scroll saw article. And the first thing I'd like to do is close up the throat plate a little bit so little pieces don't get dropped down underneath. All right, let's see. That should be adequate. And now I want to thread the packet. So what that will involve is taking the pierced hole on the other side right here and feeding it through with this blade, poking it up through and fastening it on to my upper guide. The teeth are pointed down, of course, and now I can tension it till it's about high C. It's ready to cut. Now, a couple of things that I like in addition would be, number one, a foot pedal. That allows me to control the on-off without using my hands, a small little blower to be able to blow the dust away. And I'm going to start by cutting out piece number 1. As far as the speed goes, I want to arrange the speed of the saw so there's the least amount of vibration. As you can see, this blade, when I do it with slow speed, this blade is moving back and forth quite a bit with this double arm technique. But when I start cutting, you notice that the blade smooths down and it no longer moves around like that. Oops, you see that I've drifted off the line here, but it's no matter. I can always continue to do light edits, get it back onto the line. Don't go back and recut that, otherwise it'll open up a gap. So I just want to re-edit as we're coming along. Okay, there's some other things that you can see in this image. There are places where there's going to be vane leaves where I'll drive inside the vane leaf first, back the blade out and cut the perimeter and drop out the entire piece. There's also places like this where there'll be a small notch, and to be able to turn around to another direction, I don't want to turn the blade like this. If I do, you see this blade is actually twisted in the slot, and if I would start it up, there's a high likelihood that it might break. So I need to turn it while the saw is in operation. That's done by taking the blade. I need to go this way. So I'm going to actually pull the packet in this direction, spin it while it's running, shift the pressure onto the back of the packet, and then continue on. Okay, over to one side, shift it to the back of the packet, spin the packet around, and continue cutting. And the way to get this packet out with all the pieces is to hold it down with a pencil or the dental probe or sharp pointy thing and lift the packet around it and take the pieces out. This has all the pieces and the one that we're going to use from this packet. I'll put these aside, and now I can go on to part number 2. So as I move along the cutting process, you can see I have a board where I'm offloading all my parts. And this is in order to keep organization of all the pieces that come out. As you can see, I'm numbered 1 through 9 here, and this is 10 through 19, 20 through 29. This is a standard board. Now this project has maybe 23, 24 pieces, including the background. And as I cut them, I can offload them. Here I just got this one, number 19. This is the buds. And it allows me to know exactly where everything is. If I need to come back and get something from leaf 5 or 15 or 16, I know exactly where they are. So as I'm almost done cutting, and let me finish that up, and then we'll go on to assembly. Going down the leaf vein first, and I can always back up. And when I back up a blade, I always like to run it so it tends not to stick as much. And now the perimeter. So there's one more thing that I still have yet to do. I have to cut the oval out. And since it's not really a pierce cut, I can come in from the outside. So I'm going to tension the blade in here. Yeah, that's about right. And let me cut my oval. So I'm all done with cutting. The oval is now cut out. And I'm going to leave it in the packet for right now. That keeps it supported. And all the scrap or all the waste from this project I'm going to put aside. I never want to throw anything away because I could use certain parts or interchange parts. So for this segment of Marquetry 101, that's segment 2, will be done for now. And for next time we meet, we will be assembling the pattern. We will be preparing everything for glue up, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.